Sarah and Lara here to wrap up the month of microfinance with the question that started it all. Is microfinance a movement or an industry?
Once again, here is Jonathan Lewis.
Microfinance practitioners these days seem to be asking themselves questions about whether or not microfinance is an industry or a movement, okay? And whether it's something that's profit-driven or values-driven. And what are your thoughts on this tension? Do you think that's an accurate characterization?
I definitely think it's an accurate characterization. The microfinance community or sector is divided, and it's having a robust debate within itself about two ways of looking at itself. On one side, we have very well-meaning leaders who are trying to commercialize microfinance, to make it into an asset class, to raise lots of private capital to bring into the sector. And their motivation is, I would characterize it, both because they think they can make the marketplace work to serve the impoverished, but they also are ideologically committed to that idea, and they recognize almost in an act of desperation that there isn't enough charitable money, government money, or other philanthropic money to finance microfinance at the level it needs to be to reach the billions of people who are underbanked or unbanked. On the other side of the debate are leaders who've come into the microfinance field because their core mission is not so much to build a financial model, but to alleviate poverty and overturn gender and economic discrimination that has left half the world basically off the economic ladder. And they're looking for best practices in microfinance that will provide the highest leverage to do the most amount of good for the most amount of people. As you can see, there's a lot of overlap in how those two groups would work. My own personal view is that the core, the heart and soul of microfinance is that it's a movement, it's not an industry. And it comes down to whose side you're on. And it is passing strange to me that we think that we can use financial instruments, which have essentially been objects of oppression for the people who live in poverty for years and years and years, all of a sudden flip the wheel and turn them on their head so that they become objects of liberation. I think you need to do much more than that. I think best practices means combining microfinance with health education, women's empowerment, social services, and other elements that overturn all the myriad of things that plague the impoverished, including making sure that the poor have their own voice and their own places of power to stand so they can speak up and speak out and speak for themselves. And just a financial only model doesn't get us there. In the end, we're in the liberation business, and that's what microfinance is about. It's giving people a choice they didn't have before, a choice to feed their kids, a choice to start a business, a choice to send a child to school, a choice to take care of a sick relative or whatever, and I think that's a pretty noble thing. There are no second-class citizens in this space. We all have to step up and bring our best to it, bring our A game, and so for each of you who are taking the time to watch this and participate, and I guess on behalf of all the people who can't afford to watch this video and can't afford to participate with us, thank you.
It has been a great month. Until next year, let's continue to learn, act, and grow.
Visit our website at monthofmicrofinance.org.